Welcome to Python Programming Language video tutorials by Shine India Pvt Limited. I am your Posubabu Sir, technical quant logical reasoning trainer. So in this class, I would like to discuss the basic data types in Python. So without further delay, let's start our class. So what is meant by data types? Data types are used to define the type of a variable. So which means, for example, if I have taken, so a equal to 7, so the type of data we have stored in a is integer value. So it clearly gives the info that the type of a variable, right? So what is meant by the type of a variable here? The type of data that we have stored in a variable, right? And we know that Python is dynamically typed programming language. So this we have discussed already in my previous class. So please go through that, right? So since Python is dynamically typed programming language, so the type of a variable will be determined at runtime. So according to the value we have assigned to a variable, right? So let me explain this point once again. So since Python is a dynamically typed programming language, so the type of a variable will be determined at where runtime. So according to the assigned value. Suppose here a equal to 7 I have assigned. So at runtime, the type of a variable will be determined, which means here integer value, right? Suppose if b equal to, I have given it as, so 9.8, right? So during the runtime, so the type of a variable will be determined. So the type of a variable will be determined during the runtime according to the value we have assigned. Suppose c equal to, I have assigned one string, so hi, right? So the type of data that we have assigned here, it is string. So this can be determined at runtime according to the value we have assigned. So I hope it is clear, right? The third point, which is very, very important over here, Python data types are usually classes. So this is very, very important point. Now, if you see here, a equal to 7, here, a is a defined variable, which is an object for this class, or instance of this class. Okay, so let me show you in my IDE. So if you are going to give here a equal to, so some value I'm going to assign 765. So let us use print type of a and then execute it. So you could see here we have assigned for a integer data type, right? So clearly a is a defined variable, and so this is an object for integer class. So I hope everybody is clear, right? So the data type of this variable will be determined at runtime. So you have to understand that point. Okay. Now, if I have given here, so one float value like 45.32. Now you could see. Now here A is an object for float class. So I hope everybody is clear, right? Now see basic data types in which we have in Python. Now these are the fundamental or basic data types we have in Python. The first one is integer and float, complex, Boolean, and string. Now let us discuss integer, right? Suppose if I have assigned integer value to the variable, so we can call it as integer data type, right? So let me give you a few examples for the integers. So I'm going to give you here 34, 73, minus 300, so minus 765. All these are the examples for integer data type, right? So what kind of integers are these? These are the decimal integers. So decimal integers, right? So now we can use decimal integers and we can assign to the variables. So can we assign non-decimal integers? So hopefully everybody is familiar with decimal integers, which can be assigned to the variable. So can we assign non-decimal integers? Yes, we can. So let us see non-decimal integers examples. Right? So for the decimal integers, if you observe, the suffix is what? Decimal integers, suffix is 10. So we have 0 to 9, right? Decimals, right? So we can use 10 distinct digits in order to form any integer value, right? Now let us see here an example for decimal integers, 99. Here suffix is what? A 10. So we can assign 99 to variable a, right? So can you give me an example for non-decimal integers? Yes. So let me take an example for binary numbers. So what is the suffix for the binary numbers? 2. So base is 2, right? So in binary system, we have only zeros and ones. Let me give an example for binary number as 101. So which is what an example for the binary number. So why we have only suffixes 2? We are going to use two distinct digits over here, either zeros or ones, right? So any other non-decimal integers we have? So for example, one more octal numbers. So here suffix is what? 8. So we have 0 to 7. So total 8 distinct digits are there, or we can use it in order to form octal numbers. So I'm going to take here 102. So this is one of the octal number. So where we have the suffix as 8. Now, one more important one, hexadecimal numbers. Hexadecimal numbers, we are having suffix as 16, right? So what are the distinct digits we have from 0 to F, right? So after completion of 0 to 9, 0 to 9, so 10th digit will be what? So 10th digit will be A, 11, B, 12, C, 13, D, 14, E, 15 is F. So total we have 16. So hence our base is what? 16 over here. Now, so all these non-decimal integers also you could represent in Python. So in what way you could represent, right? So let me erase the things over here. So how do you represent? Now, so if I have taken A is equal to 1010, right? So it will be considered it as integer actually, right? It will be considered it as integer. Now, if you want to represent a binary number like this 1010, you have to use a prefix called so 0b. 0b. 0b is a prefix that you have to use in order to represent so binary integers. So do remember 0b. So can I use b as a capital? Yes. So you may use 0. This is a 0 and then capital B. So you could use either small 0 small b or 0 capital B. However, that represents was what binary number. So in front of this, you have to use 0b. Hence, this number becomes a binary number, right? Now, let me show you in my IDE. So let us take some b equal to, so what I'm going to use 0 b. So let us write binary number, right? 10100. Now let us see print type of b. So it is an integer value, right? Now Python is having its own conversion. Though you are giving here binary number, So it will convert automatically to decimal system. Now let me print B. Now after converting this binary number in terms of decimal number, we got 20 over here, right? So Python automatically converts binary numbers in terms of what? Decimal numbers, right? So to represent binary numbers, you have to use what? A prefix called 0b. So can I use capital B over here? Yes. So instead of small b, let me write capital B. So however, you will be getting same answer, that is 20. Now let me modify the number over here, 1011. Now let me execute it. So the corresponding value for this binary number is 11 in terms of decimal system. So I hope everybody is clear. Now, what about the prefix we have to use for octal number, right? So if it is a binary number, so you are going to use 0 small b or 0 capital B. Now, if it is octal, so this is for binary. So if it is for octal, so you have to use 0 O small o or 0 capital O. So this is what octal, right? You have to use prefix either this one or this one, right? So now what about for hexadecimal, right? So you have to use 0 small x or 0 capital X. So this is what you have to use prefix for to represent hexadecimal. So let me open my IDE and let us write a few examples for octal as well, right? So let me write here some A is equal to, let me represent 0. So 0, O. So let me write 123 and then execute it, right? So let me print A. So in octal, if you convert, right, in terms of a decimal, this is what an octal number. So that has been converted in terms of a decimal. So you got 83, right? So let me give you one more example for hexadecimal. Let me take, so C equal to hexadecimal number I'm going to use here, 0, capital X, and let me write 1, 2, 3, so AB, and then let us print C. Now you could see over here, the corresponding decimal number for this hexadecimal number is 74,667. So I hope everybody is clear, right? So hope everybody familiar now. The conversion is also right. So later we can see how we can convert so binary numbers in terms of decimal system, or octal numbers in terms of decimal system, or hexadecimal in terms of decimal system. So since we are discussing data types, so even non-decimal numbers also you could represent as an integer. So that I just want to convey over here, right? So I hope everybody is clear, right? So in Python, so one more important I just want to convey. So in Python, so there is no limit. So very important point, students over here. So there is no limit to represent the size of an integer, right? So we don't have any limit so on the size of integer, right? So I hope everybody is understood, right? So which means, so if you are good programmer in C programming language, so if you want to represent bigger size and long integers or bigger size integers, so you have to use long type, right? But so this is what in C programming language, right? Whereas in Python, so we don't have any separate long type in Python. So in Python, we don't have any long type. So I hope everybody can be able to understand, right? So we are going to use only int. Int is going to be used to represent any integer. So whether it is a long int or so small integers, so we are going to use only int, right? So whereas in C programming language, in order to represent bigger size integers or long integers, we are going to use long type. So I hope everybody is clearly understood, right? So if it is clear, so let us move to the float data type. So let's discuss float data type, right? So float data type are used to represent real numbers in Python. So I hope everybody is familiar with the real numbers, which means it handles or deals decimal points. So let me write one example. Suppose A equal to, so 3.789 I have given. So what type of data we have stored in A? So it is float. So let me open my IDE and write the example over here. So A is equal to 3.789. So let us print A, right? And then I'm going to print even type of data that we have stored in variable A. Now you could see we have stored float data in A, and A is an object of float class. Okay, so I hope this one everybody is familiar, right? Now, if you want to represent so one of the number in one particular variable, like so 3.78 into 10 power 5. So this is the value I just want to save in one particular variable. So this is what the float value, right? So to represent this one in Python, so we have a scientific notation. Scientific notation, right? So in scientific notation, you may use small e or capital E. You may use small e or capital E. So where you have to use the small e or capital E at the end of this float value, right? Which means to represent this one, you may write so 3.78. So small e. So what power here? 5. So if you have written this one, so you will be getting output. If you have written print A, so the output will be so 378,000. So which means 10 power 5 we have multiplied with 3.78. So this is what the output you will be getting, right? So now let me verify in the IDE, right? So I have written here 3.78. So I'm going to use small a and then 5 and then print a. Now let us see. So you could get the same output what I have mentioned over there. So 378,000.0. So I hope everybody is clear. Suppose if you want to use power as some -3. I just want to write here power as -3. So let me take B. B is equal to another value. So the same 3.78 into 10 power -3, right? So you could print B. You could print B. So now what will happen? How do you represent this one, right? How do you represent in the scientific form, right? So in the scientific form, you have to represent this one as 3.78 and you may use capital E or small e. And then you have to write -3, right? So now let us execute the same one in the IDE, right? So let me take some B equal to, let me write here 3.78. So I'm going to use capital E -2. sorry, minus 3 I'm going to use, right? So let us write print B and execute it. Now you could see we are getting the output. So 0.00378. So it has moved to the three positions, right? Decimal has been moved to the three positions print. So I hope everybody is clear with a float data type, right? So we will be moving to the next data type. So that is complex. So let us discuss Boolean data type. So Boolean data type is used to represent any one of the two values. So which means true or false. So which means it returns either true or false. So let us take one example here. So 3 less than 5. Surely this condition is true. Hence, it returns true. So if I have taken 3 greater than 5, surely this condition is false. Hence, it returns false, right? So I hope everybody is clear. So which means whenever you are going to check any condition, it returns either true or false. Even you could compare strings as well. So if I have taken one string here, apple, right? So I'm writing here greater than ball. So I'm going to compare these two strings. So clearly the ASCII value of A is less than ASCII value of B. So since this condition is false, so hence it returns false, right? So Boolean data type so represents any of the two values, which returns any of the two values, either true or false, right? Now, let us check. So these examples in IDE. So let me open my IDE. So let us write the first one, print. So 3 greater than 5. So clearly this condition is false, right? So hence it returns false. So hence it display false. So let me write 3 less than 5. So it is true, right? Now you could verify many conditions. So 10 greater than, so I'm writing here 20. So let us see what it returns. It returns false. So I hope everybody is clear. So to see it on the screen, so you have to write the print statement. So let us write. Now let us write one string here and compare apple. So greater than. So let me write ball. Right now, in this case, you are getting output as false. Now let us write less than over here in the same example. So since it is true, it returns true. So the string comparisons will be done based on the ASCII values. So we will discuss in the next classes what is ASCII values and how we can calculate ASCII values for the corresponding characters. So I hope everybody is clear so far what I have explained. Now let me open uh, so presentation. Now, so you have to remember one more point here. So Python internally consider true as 1 and false as 0. So try to remember this point and let's do a small operation using this. Let me open my IDE and I'm writing over here print. So I'm writing true plus true and execute it. Now you could see it returns 2. So it displays true. So let us write one more, true plus false minus true. So true plus false. So 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Hence it returns 0. To see the same output on the screen, use print statement. So now you could come to know the output is 0. So hope it is clear to everybody. So simply this Boolean data type is going to return so any one of the two values from true or false. That's it. Right? I hope everybody is clear. Now let us discuss complex data type. So let us discuss complex data type. So complex data type, so which is in the form of A plus BJ. So here A is real part, whereas B imaginary part. So I hope everybody is clear. So now let us take one example for complex number. So 3 plus 4j. So in this number, 3 is real part and 4 is imaginary part, right? So which means in the A plus Bj, A comma B might be integer values or it might be float values, right? So which means, let me give an example, another example for the complex number over here. So I may write one of the complex number as 3 plus 8 plus 4.7j. So here A and B are float values, which is acceptable, right? So let us verify in the IDE. So let me take one of the complex number here. So and I'm going to save in variable A. So A is equal to, I'm writing some 3 plus 4j and then print A. So if you see, you are getting complex number. So using float values also, let us take one. So 4.6 plus some 6.4j and let us print B. Now you could see, right? Now, how you are going to extract real part and imaginary part from these complex numbers. Now, let me open my paint and then you could see. So let us take A is equal to 3 plus 4j. So this is what real part. So let us extract this real part. So in this case, you have to write your code as A dot real. So hence you are getting the output as 3.0. So if you want to extract imaginary part here, so imaginary part, so write A dot. So why we are writing A dot? Because this complex number has been saved in variable A. So you have to start with A dot real part. So real part means you have to write dot real. So A dot and you have to write here imaginary. But if you have written imaginary, you will be getting error. So you have to write IMAZ only. So when you have written the code as A dot IMAZ, so you will be getting the output as 4.0, right? So now let us see whether we can extract the real part and imaginary part. So let me open my IDE. So here I'm going to extract so the real part from A. So in this case, you have to write A dot real and execute it. So it returns what? 3.0. So it returns, remember, floating values. So let me write print statement here, print of A dot real, right? So 3.0. So in the same way, let us write print of A dot IMAZ. And then you could see it returns 4.0. So though you have given here integer values, it returns float values only. Now let us write print B dot real. Now you could see 4.6. In the same way, let us write print B dot IMAZ. So you will be getting 6.4. So I hope everybody is clear, right? So now let us go back and learn complex function. So we have complex function as well. Complex function. So instead of writing the complex number, which is like 3 plus 4j, right? So you could use complex function and you can pass two arguments here. So if I pass 3 comma 4, so it returns 3 plus 4j. Now let us see. So I'm going to delete this one, and then you could see I'm using complex function. So if you are using complex function, try to pass two arguments here. I'm passing here 3 comma 4, and let us execute it. So it gives a complex number that is 3 plus 4j, right? So let us save it in one variable, and then you just try to print a, you will be getting 3 plus 4j. So I hope everybody is clear. So here you have to pass two arguments, right? So can I pass one argument? Yes. Let me write complex, and you could pass even one argument. So if you're passing one argument, so what will happen? So since imaginary part not given, so 3 is a real part here and 4 is the imaginary part. So if you are passing only one argument, so what will happen? So imaginary part, it will be treated as 0. So hence it returns 3 plus 0j. So that you could identify 3 plus 0j. So which means that complex function, you could pass even single argument, right? Now, one more important point. So you may pass complex. So first argument as one string. Let me pass a string with a 10. So I have passed here a string. Now let us see. So when you're passing a string over here, so it returns what? 10 plus 0j. I hope everybody is clear. But here, one important point which will really helps you in multiple choice questions, that is, so when you are passing first argument as a string and you are not supposed to pass second argument, so it won't take the second argument. So let me show you that point here. So let me write here complex of. So first argument I'm going to pass here. So 3. And second argument, I'm going to pass here 4. Now you could see it gives an error. It generates error, right? So complex cannot take second argument if first argument is string. So if it is an integer value here, a float value you're passing over here, so you may give the second argument. But if you're passing string here, so it won't take the second argument. So I hope everybody is clear, right? Now let me write one more thing here. So 3.5 comma, so 6.2 I'm giving, and then execute it. So it returns what? 3.5 plus 6.2j. So even you could pass even float values at complex function, right? So can I pass complete a complex number? Yes. So let me write here print of complex. So first argument itself, I'm passing one complex number, that is 10 plus 12j, right? So when you pass a string here, you are not supposed to pass any other argument. So it won't take second argument. Now let me execute it. It returns 10 plus 12j. So I hope everybody is clear. Now you could see one more important point. Complex of, you may write first argument as true. So I told you already, true in Python, true means it consider it as 1. And I'm going to pass second argument as false. Now let us see. So 1 plus 0j. So true means what here? Real part. False means what here? Imaginary part. Right? So can I pass true comma true? Yes, you can pass even true comma true. Right? So let me write one more. So print complex of true comma true. So which means you are getting 1 plus 1j. Now let us see the output over here. 1 plus 1j. And you could do even operations as well like this. true minus false. So true plus true is true, 2 minus 0 is 2. So 2 means 2 plus 1j I will be getting. Right, now let us see what output we got. So we got the output as 2 plus 1j. So I hope everybody is clear. So do remember the one important point related to this complex number. So whenever you pass first argument as string, it won't take the second argument. So that you have to remember it. So I hope everybody clearly understand what is meant by complex number. So what are the different arguments it is taking and conditions. Right? So let us go back and go for the next one. So that is string data type. So let us discuss another data type, which is string. So this is very, very important even in interviews. So in interviews, you may get the question, can you define string? So let me explain what is string, right? So let me write it here. So this is a very important definition. A string means a sequence of letters or characters enclosed in single quote or double quote. So called as string. So this is a very, very important definition, students. So what is string? So string means a sequence of letters or characters enclosed in single quote or double quote. So we can call it as a string, right? So let me take one example. So let me write here hello. So you have to represent the sequence of characters over here in either single quote, or you may represent even in double quotes. So I hope everybody is clear, right? So let us execute it in my IDE. Let me open my IDE. So let us take one variable here. So a equal to, so I'm going to print a hi, right? So let us print a, right? Now we could see hi has been printed. Okay. Now, so let me take another variable b. Then I'm going to take hello. Then I'm going to print b. Now you could see hello has been printed on the screen. Now let me take C, and then I'm going to take how are you? So and let us so return C here. Now you could see, so we got so C value, which is what? How are you? Now let me make changes over here, double quotes instead of single quote. However, if you are going to execute it, so you will be getting the output in the single quote only, right? So when you are returning the values, so you will be getting the output in the single quote, right? So you won't get in the double quote. So you just try to observe, right? So when you are using print statement, you could see what is there in the string, right? So hello, hi has been printed. So but when you are returning, though you are using double quote, so you will be getting single quote. So you just try to focus on this point. So I hope everybody is clear. Right now, let us see what type of data we have stored in C. So for that, so try to use type function type of C. Right. So it is what? Class string. So which means what? C is a one of the object for string class. Right. So I hope everybody is clear. So what is string here? So sequence of characters enclosed in a single quote or double quote, we can call it as string or string literal also. So I hope everybody is clear. So far what I have explained regarding data types. So in this class, we have discussed so basic data types in Python. So that is what integer, float, Boolean, complex, and string. So I hope everybody is clear. So if it is clear, if you like my videos, please share and subscribe my channel. So thank you.